Welcome to In The Zone, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of slopestyle mountain biking. In each episode, we bring you insightful conversations with professional riders, thought-provoking discussions, and unique perspectives on improving ourselves on and off the bike. Whether you are a seasoned mountain bike enthusiast looking to take your skills to the next level, or just started to explore this fascinating world, you are in the right place. I'm your host, Blaise Bali, and I'm thrilled to be taking you on this journey. So sit back, relax, and let's enjoy the show. All right, guys, so welcome to the show again, and today's special guest is Bienvenido Aguado. Bienvenido, I did a little research on you, and for the people who don't know you, I just want to read out a couple stuff. So basically, I was super excited to have this interview with you because I saw that you are 35 years old, right? And you are turning 36. And that's something that's already like unique in the mountain biking scene, because this is an extreme sport and most people just like quit when they're like around 30. They start thinking, oh, I'm too old for this, and so I should just like, you know, chill out and like maybe do something else. But you seems to be like keep progressing, keep pushing the sport, and to me that I find that fascinating, to be honest. And you know, some of the things I read over here are just insane. Like, you literally broke the world record of the, you know, biggest front flip in history, which was 30 meters. Like, that's unheard. And that happened literally in 2021. So that was not a long time ago. And then you also like, you know, hold the world record for the first front flip tuna, maybe the downhill bike. Then you have first mountain bike double front flip no-hander, insane. Also first double front flip. So you have a bunch of like unique things under your belt that no one done before.
I appreciate that.
So
thank you.
Yeah, I find that really, really, really exciting and really fascinating. Another thing that's interesting to me is that, and maybe a lot of people don't know, is that you've been a gymnast before you started mountain biking, and you only started mountain biking at the age of 21, which if you talk to a lot of people, that's very late, right? That's like super late. So why don't we start?
That is never too late, though.
yeah, never too late. But like, if you were to tell someone that like they started at 21, that sounds late. Like, a lot of people would agree that, well, that's very late. And it doesn't seem like, if I look at your riding, it doesn't seem like you started at 21. It seems like you started at 10 or something like that. So why don't we start by you telling, you know, the audience your experience of how was gymnastics, and then how was this transition of you being a gymnast to you deciding that you want to ride bikes? I would love to hear that.
Sure. So the story means I should start when I was living in close to Nice in France when I was 5 years old. Then my sister was doing gymnastics, and I went to pick her up one day, and I just fell in love with the gymnastics when I was 5. You know, because I could see all those tools I could play with. So yeah, with 5 years old, I just started gymnastics. Then with 9-10 years old, I started to become like professional, we will say, kind of. I was doing some Catalan and Spanish championships. Then with 13, I've been best of Catalonia in my category, in my age. But with 14, I become another time champion of Catalonia, and then I kind of got over it. It just, after 9 years of training a lot and everything, I was like kind of over it, because it was like for too many years already. So I just started doing my thing, you know. With 15 years old, you want to go on the streets.
Gotcha.
Then I started doing some skateboarding. Then I started, I always kept doing some stuff. I did parkour with my old gym training. I did some capoeira. I did taekwondo. I did breakdance a little bit, skateboard, some soccer and stuff like that. Of course, not baseball, because I'm short, such a short guy. Never basketball too. Then I just started working, so I had to work. And since I was 17, I needed to work hard to just own my food and my apartment, whatever. And I was going to the work with a bike. And one day, on my way to work, I was sorry about that. I was 21 years old, and then I just stopped by some jumps by accident, and I had like a kind of a BMX that I was using to go from the north of Barcelona to the south of Barcelona every day for like 10 kilometers every morning.
Why a BMX?
Yeah,
why were you using
Because it was just a small and cheap bike I could use to move through Barcelona and go work with it, you know.
Wow.
Then once I discovered those jumps, I was like, okay, my BMX is too small, and then I switched my BMX for a mountain bike to go work, but also to go ride the jumps in the afternoon after going to work, because it
I
was
love
like,
it.
oh, now I can do the same with so I can go work and I can jump with the bike and I can use the same bike. So I kept doing this for like 2-3 months, and this was in the north of Barcelona. And then one guy saw kind of a little bit of talent on me, and then he told me about La Poma. And then that was like 2 months after getting into the mountain bike, and I was riding literally 1 meter jumps in Barcelona. You know, there was a line of 2 jumps in a row, and
Yeah.
there were 1 meter and another table of 1.5 meter that you were jumping to flat. So I was already trying some can-cans and toboggans and stuff like that. And then some guy told me about La Poma. And then I went to La Poma and I fell in love with dirt jumping. And then I was 21. I was working for 1 year, and then I saw I could do some. I learned the first front flip, the first back flips, and stuff like that. So I started doing demos, and those demos they could earn me a little bit of money. So I quit my job. That was 2009. I quit my job, so I only went to ride bikes. And yeah, in 2011, I did the first double front flip, and then I become professional with the first
I see.
contract. My first proper contract was YT in 2011, and I had
And was
also
that, do you
Pank
think
in
that was because of the
2010.
double front flip?
For YT, yes,
Yeah, okay.
definitely. I landed the double front flip, and a week after, I was flying to Germany to sign my contract with YT.
I
And
see.
I actually had a good offer, and I couldn't say no. It was my first big contract. You know, they gave me some good bikes. You know, that was the first dirt love I've got. The rump, the 2S, but the 2S I didn't like it by them. It was made of aluminum. It was too heavy for me. I was used to
I
the
see.
dirt jump bike,
Yeah.
and that's why I didn't do downhill till I was older. Because when I got into downhill, the only reason it was because of the bikes were made of carbon. You know, they were
Yeah.
lighter. Because I'm a short guy and I like to have a small bike and
Yeah.
light bike. Because I was
How tall you are, for the people who don't know?
168, 169,
Okay.
something like that.
I see.
Yeah. So yeah, in 2011 I did the first double front flip with a Scott actually. And a week after, I become professional, and since then, I'm a proud YT rider.
That's awesome to hear, dude. That's a crazy story, actually, from like working hard, like looking at some dirt jumps and actually giving them a try. How did you learn your first few tricks? Like, did you watch some videos on YouTube and you just try to
Oh
like
yeah,
do the same, or
huge
what was
fan
the
of.
strategy there? Yeah.
No, I was a huge fan of YouTube. So I
Okay.
remember, so my routine the first years,
Yeah.
where it was working in the morning, then riding in the afternoon, and then once I got home, like from 8 till 11, I was going to bed. I was only watching YouTube videos. Like I remember Andreo Lacondegui, Martin Soderstrom.
Oh.
When I started biking, Lance McDermott was such a big thing by then. Greg Watts. So that is my beginning. I was looking at these guys for sure. Montgomery. I don't know if you remember that guy, Mike Montgomery. He was fucking
No,
doing
I don't know. I know
the
Martin. I
super
know
good
Andrew
rider
Lacon.
from.
Yeah.
Yeah, good times, good times. But we're in a different position now.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So before we go into, because I really want to talk about like your gymnast background and how you do the training for mountain biking, what you actually do, how your routines look like. I'm just curious, like, do you have any hobbies or things outside of mountain biking? Like, I guess, what do you do when you cannot do mountain biking, or is there anything else you do besides mountain biking?
I like golf. but not much.
Okay.
Sometimes I go, but it's not a thing I do often. I go maybe twice a month. I have a pit bike, but I'm not using it too much. And I sold it to Gojek actually, so I
Really?
could buy so I could buy a mini GP. So now I'm into mini GPs, and I'm going to go-kart tracks, and I go with not a big
That's
moto,
fun.
but not also small moto. It's like
Yeah.
a decent small professional bike,
I
and
see.
that is my new hobby now. Yeah.
You can do that on the go-kart tracks?
Yeah. You don't need to go to big tracks. You don't need to go to like MotoGP tracks. You only
That's
go
true.
to a go-kart, and it's more than enough. And it makes you so tired. You do 10 minutes full pint, and
Yeah?
you're done. So
Really?
physically, it's such a good work. Yeah,
And
physically, it's so good.
where do you do that? Do you do that near Barcelona?
Yeah, around Barcelona, there's like 10 go-karts.
Dude, next time
So
I'm in Barcelona, I'll hit you up. I'll go with you. I wanna give that a try.
sure. If
I'll
you
go.
wanna,
I'll move back this winter.
I can put you my road suite, and you have a try. It's so
I would
fun,
love
man.
to try.
It's so fun because I love big motos, bro. I have a Ducati for the street and stuff, and I would love to have like a Air 6 or Air 1 for going like crazy fast. But dude, I'm gonna kill myself,
Yeah,
and it's
it's dangerous. No,
expensive.
I was gonna say it's
Yeah,
super
it's too
dangerous.
dangerous for me. I'm not too good on skills to go with a fucking moto that goes 300k an hour. I'm gonna kill myself. You know, I know how it goes. I don't want to kill and hurt myself. So I just took a little step down, and I
Yeah,
took a moto which is fast and you can get hurt, but it's not that sketchy. You know, so
that's smart.
it's cheaper. If you have a crash with the Air 6, then you spend so much money on the moto again on fixing it and stuff. And the small moto, it's so cheap to go karts and be a full day racing it, and the moto is cheap too. So
And it's all
cheaper
about the
thing,
fun. It's all about the
but
fun
so
at the end
physical.
of the day. Yeah,
It's so physical, bro. You
I
can't
see.
believe it. It's so physical.
It sounds. I'll see. I'll see once I'm back in.
I let you try one day.
Awesome. Okay, so those are for like it sounds like it's not just mountain bike that you have. You love to do a lot of things besides mountain biking, and I think that's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
I like windsurfing too and some other sea sports, but yeah, mainly I like two wheels. I'm
Yeah,
a two wheel lover for sure.
I see. That's awesome. And so how was your gymnastics experience? I would love to hear what are the things that you brought from gymnastics, be it anything like training wise, like a training
Yeah,
regime, any kind of like stretching, warm up, whatever it is, and then also like
yeah,
mindset, because I know gymnast like you also learn a kind of mindset, or I think
yeah, yeah. I
I
will
think
say
if you have a right trainer, you
gymnastics.
should.
Yeah, I will say the gymnastics shaped my body and also my brain because I'm not so tall because I've been doing gymnastics since I'm too young. You know, see, when you do it
Yes.
since you're too young, then you don't grow up that much.
Yeah, I
But
know.
this is actually also a good advantage for backflips because you're
Yes.
smaller and it's easier to spin, especially for doubles, I would say. Then at the beginning,
Also for
gymnastic was
crashing,
just
no? I think if you're like
yeah. I
shorter,
mean,
yeah.
the gymnastic and the parkour definitely saved my body, and that's maybe one of the reasons I'm still doing some big tricks with my age, you know, and I can still pushing because I know more or less how to crash, and that helps
Yeah.
a lot. How to bail, how to absorb the impact. This is very good, and that comes from the gymnastic for sure. And being small, because I've been doing gymnastics for many years, it's pretty good too. But the thing is, at the beginning, gymnastic was just a funny thing to do, you know. It was just fun because my sister was doing it and stuff. But when I was 10 years old, then I become kind of good. And then I went to a school that we were training so much, like 4, 5, 6 hours a day
Yeah, I
with
know
10,
it's not an
11.
easy one. I know.
No, yeah. That's why I got over it, you know. Since 10 to 14, I was training 3 to 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, 4 days a week. So I
Insane.
really become.
Did you lose the
That's
fun?
why I. Huh?
Did you lose the fun?
Again?
Like, did you lose your
Yeah,
excitement and the fun for
yeah,
gymnastics? Like, too much training.
definitely. Yeah, yeah. That's why. Yeah, that's
And
why
when
I
you
quit. Because with
and when you
14, it started being only competition, you know?
hmm and when you lose the
With
fun,
14, it was only competition and only,
I see.
again.
And when you lose the fun, do you also lose? Do you also feel like you're at a low, like you cannot perform at the same level, or was it that you lost the fun, but you were like still super good because you
Yeah,
trained so much? Which
yeah.
one? Like,
I mean, I was still good, but I was just not motivated. So
mm,
I was keeping the trainings because I was over it. You
yeah,
know, I was already kind of good. Could have been better, could have been worse, but just my motivation wasn't the same. I was going
hmm
to train 5 hours a day, and I was going like, oh, fuck again. You know, with 14. So
yeah,
I lost the interest, and my mom asked me, "Hey, have you lost the interest?" I said yes. So she just quit me from the gym, and everyone was happy about it. I learned
that's
a
so nice.
lot, but that wasn't my future. You know.
I
Then I
see.
started with more study. Then I really started studying, looking at going on the streets. You know, with the friends, with being a kid. I
hmm
started being a kid with 14 years old because before that I was just a gymnast. You know,
Yeah, I know
and then
what you mean. Like that was all your life
yeah,
consumed. Like,
I missed stuff before I was 14, you
I
know.
see.
Then with 14 I kind of got back at being a kid and being a guy growing and knowing the streets, the girls, whatever you want to say about
Yeah,
it.
like party,
Yeah,
chasing
you want to
girls, like
be,
having
yeah,
life
of course,
experience. Yeah,
obviously.
yeah,
But but I always felt that the sport was my future, but not the gymnastics.
I see.
But I kept doing so many things. So every week I was doing just because I wanted, and that was my motivation. I was doing either 2 days capoeira, then taekwondo, then I was going to whatever, just body control stuff always, you know,
Yeah, like staying
in between
active and
those
looking for the
taekwondo,
new
yeah.
new
So
stuff.
with
I got you.
21, so with 21, my backflip skills were really good. You know, I could double flip in the
hmm
beach. You know, I could
Wow,
double flip just running half, boom, double on the beach.
wow.
With so then when I took the bike, it wasn't so different because the bike is kind of light. You know, 10 kilos bike, you can almost trampoline and flip with it. You know,
Yes.
so I felt really comfortable straight away with the air. But I need to say I learned the tricks before the riding skills though. That was a kind of a thing I did it in the opposite way. Just because I was
hmm
coming from the gymnastics, then
Yes.
it was easy to backflip a bike for me.
Yeah,
But then I went to downhill and I completely sucked. I was really
I
bad.
see.
And today I still learn stuff every day I go riding a downhill bike.
You do.
Mainly, yeah, because
Wow.
the main thing,
Can you
yeah.
give me some example? Like, what are the things you kind of learned late in the past few years?
For
Like,
example, how to set up a bike to go for laps and
hmm
have a nice consistency all day long. You know, because I used to ride super stiff bike that
yeah,
that you can jump so easily, but if you take that same bike to the bike park,
yeah,
then it's pretty bad. You know, so I
yeah.
had to learn that balance in between being fast and tricky, you know, and have fun on both. And maybe now I have two bikes though. I have a jump bike and I have a downhill bike. They're
I see.
separate. I have always both of them with me because when you go with a racer for laps, then you realize how slow you are. You know, that happened
hmm
to me a couple times. I went with World Cup guys and people that were really fast, and not just the skills were better, just the bike was also set up for racing.
I
And
see.
then I was like, wow, I'm so bad at riding bikes. I can do tricks, I can jump, but dude, that's a completely different story, you know?
Wow.
So the last couple years since 2020, I will say, after Rampage and stuff, then I've really got into doing a proper stuff and cool setup for bipart, but also being able to jump and do tricks and have fun. You know, this is something I still learn stuff every day.
I see.
And I'm the classic guy who thinks his bike is set up properly for bike park or for downhill. But then you find a mechanic from a World Cup team or whatever, and he does whatever on the bike, set up two things, and then the bike is way better. You know, I'm that kind of guy. I never know if I'm on a good soft setup or it's not. On stiff setup, I know everything. You know, full pressures, slow rebounds. That's it. But it's a different story to go down the mountain, and I still learn how to do that today, and I'm still learning how to go faster and faster every day. You know, because even if I'm really happy with my level of riding, considering I started riding downhill bikes in 2019, dude, every time I follow a racer, they smoke me. It's insane. They smoke me huge. It's insane. So
that's good, but then you know you can like progress still. Like you know that you have things to learn, and
that's why I also switched into downhill from dirt jump. Because on dirt jump, after doing all those double front flips and huge tricks, you know, at some point there is not much more things to do on top of that, you know. So
just more crazy stuff where you can like kill yourself.
So that's why I felt like I wanted to renew myself, and that's why I asked YT, hey guys, send me a carbon bike. Maybe I like it. I want to get into big biking, and then it become being another step of on my future. You know, I still ride dirt jump bikes, but I don't think I'm a dirt jump rider for most of the people. I'm more a free ride rider, you know, or a big bike rider. It was just like a step, but I just enjoy it so much, the process. But I don't really ride my dirt jump bikes anymore, to be honest.
Gotcha.
I just go to La Poma like once or twice a month, maybe to Morrilla with Alejandro, you know. Maybe I do Masters of their show, which is 5 shows a year. That is probably 15 times a year I use the small bike.
And so in other times you don't do tricks, you just like you race?
It's not like a race, but I'm trying to balance that. I have the skills, but I still need to learn how to ride a bike. So I'm just trying to, you know,
balance the whole thing.
Yeah, that's why. And it's funny because there's a friend of me. He's from, you know, La Penasosa, I believe.
Yeah, I was there like a month ago.
There's a guy I ride with him over there. It's a 8 times world Spanish BMX race champion. Okay. And with him, just because he goes so fast, I have no chance to do tricks. I just want to scrub everything, you know.
Yeah.
So with him, I'm all day whips and scrubs and going fast. So after 3 years riding with him, he didn't really saw me doing tricks, you know, because I was just riding. And he came with me to Audi 9s, and then I started doing all of those huge tricks over there. And he was like, bro, I'm not used to this. I never see you doing tricks. I'm like, yeah, bro, because when I go with you, you're a racer. I train racing, you know. And I'm just trying to balance that, and that's why I keep so motivated with downhill, because I still feel I have so much to learn about it, like a lot.
I love this mindset. So it's basically like you seeing the possibility for progression is what keeps the fire in you. Like that's why you want to keep going.
The firing and the motivation keeps going because of there's so much more I can learn, you know.
I love this.
That's why I become free rider. And the good part about being a dirt jumper before is like now I can jump big stuff and I'm comfortable with it. But I still want to learn stuff. And now I just become fan of the mini GPs, you know, something new. Just because I'm such a rookie at it, and it makes me so pumped to feel I'm starting from zero. Something else, you know. I love the feeling about starting from zero and keep the learning process on a good level.
I understand. So basically, like having progression is the most important thing that keeps the joy, no? Like just having something where you can progress is like the most fun aspect of everything.
Yeah, I think so. Honestly, even if it's whatever chess or even if it's sport. Whatever it is, the more you learn, the better it makes you feel, the smartest, the whatever you want to call it, it just makes you feel worth it, you know?
I know what you mean. And so how is it with tricks? Because you said you did many crazy tricks already, and obviously there are also like another bar spin or another tail whip or another something you can add
Yeah,
into
but
them.
at some point, first of all, I'm not a bar spin guy. I
Okay.
can do I can do bar spins, but I've never been a bar spin guy. I don't know if it's because my arms are too short and I can't really move properly.
Yeah.
I don't know. The thing is, I started riding bikes in 2007.
Yeah.
In 2011, I did the first double front flip to dirt. And after that, I've done like all those crazy maneuver flip since 2011 till 2019. All I've done, it's like so many shows doing double front flips, double back flips, 3 double whips, flip Superman, running top all day. So for 7 years, that was all. You
The show
know,
tricks, yeah.
yeah, all the bangers, and I've
Yeah.
done kind of good at some events like Big in Bavaria back in the days, or some events like that. But I just got a little bit over it of that, you know, because it was just too much repetition already.
Yeah. And like, are those tricks feels easy for you after so many repetition, or do you like?
No,
So it's not like
no.
you go there and you're like 100%, you will get every single one of them. You're still nervous sometimes when you have to do like a
It's
double
like
front flip.
it's like sometimes it was easy back in the days, and now you get more nervous each time you want to do it, and at some point it's not really worth it. You want to change the, you know, because you've been on that position. Okay, I'm gonna do that. You've done it 15 times. You know, at the 16th, maybe the motivation is not the same. You know,
Yeah.
I think I've done like 10 or 12 double front flips to dirt, because there's people doing it. I've done many to the airbag. Probably I've done like 100 double front flips to airbag, but I only did 10 to dirt. You know, but doing an 11th one, I don't know if it's really motivating me. You know.
It's like the risk reward is not there, no?
Yeah,
Because like
at
the
some
reward
point.
is
I
not high.
mean,
If you get it, so what? You got another one, right? You're not like super stoked.
yeah.
But if you crash, then the risk is the same. Like if you crash, it's like big risk. Still.
Yeah. At some point, I will be good with that for a couple of years, but at some point, my brain just gets over it of it.
I see.
I just want to do something. I just want to do something new, you know. That's why I become a free rider, and I'm trying to push the fucking 30-meter front flip and stuff like that, you know. And I have a big project for this year. I hope you guys can see it. This is how I broke my leg last year. I was doing a project, and I was trying to push the limits of the big bike, because it was a new thing and it was becoming super motivating for me. I broke my leg, but I want to do it again this year. So let's see let's see if I can show you guys that soon, hopefully.
I'm
And that
stoked
keeps
about
me
that.
motivated, but it's a new thing, you know. It's new, it's fresh. It keeps me motivated about it.
And can you tell me, because I'm super curious, like how is the level of fear and anxiety when you want to do something like a 30-meter front flip? Like you know the consequences could be very high if you mess up something on the pop or something. No? Like what do you think? What's in your mind? Do you feel like the consequences are actually high, or do you feel like it's like you can escape if you fuck it up? Like how do you think about all of it?
Honestly, about the front flip, about the 30 meters front flip, I wasn't thinking too much on the consequences. But dude, I can tell you, I've been 1.5 years thinking about it, preparing for it. And because my first Darkfest was 2020, and we had a lot of rain. I already wanted to front flip the 30 meters, but I couldn't do it because we had like 7 top to bottoms in the whole week, so I wasn't ready at all. So and that was, I think, very early in the year. And then the next year, mid-year, was the next Darkfest, which was 1.5 years. So I just kept thinking about it. And the night before, I couldn't sleep. The night before doing it, I couldn't sleep. I slept like 2 hours, maybe. I was like so excited for it, but more than scared, I was just excited. All that year and a half of mental preparation was going to be out, you know? So I was so excited to take it out of the way. And
Yeah.
that kept me excited. And when I landed it, I just cried like a baby.
Yeah. So you were not, were you scared? Would you say you were scared before rolling, like before rolling in, or how did you feel? Or you were
Yeah,
just pure
a little,
excitement?
yeah. Yeah, maybe too excited. I will say 60, 70% excitement, 30% scared.
I
Yeah, I
see.
will say that. Yeah, yeah. I was just so happy to go for it and try it and get it out of the way and see if it works.
And how did
And
it feel? Like, how did you think anything about in the air? Or how did it feel?
I actually was thinking I was about to over rotate because
Mm-hmm.
it's so big, you know. So I was like, wow, the pool needs to be super small. And I
Yeah.
actually under rotate. So I had to talk a little.
Yeah.
I had to talk a little and I went a little deep. But it ended up being better to go slower and talk and then opening at the end. But it was
Yes.
a little scary because once you're under and you have to talk, then you don't see much, you
No.
know.
Yeah,
You
I
don't
know, I
have your
know.
head like this in front, you know. You can where you can see.
Yeah.
So I did a little London so I could spot the landing. And
Yeah.
since then I saw I was a little under, just a tiny. So I had to talk
Mm-hmm.
and then I couldn't see, so I was just waiting for good luck, and
Yeah,
then
yeah. That's the worst part
and
when you
then
wait
at
for.
the, yeah, and then at the very last part of the spin, I could see the landing, and I just went like whoa, and then I went crazy. Of course, I was just
Wow.
started screaming, and I had such a baby cry for a minute. I could
Yeah, it must
manage
have been
to make it.
insane feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very, very
Yeah.
for sure. And all the people was trying to make me do it again for another editions. I was like, I've done it already. If maybe on the bigger jump, but not on the same one. This year I had some plans on the 110 feet, but I broke my toe, so I managed to do some full runs, but midway.
Yeah. The
I had
jump seems
more.
very
I
big.
had more
Yeah.
in the tank. I had more
Yeah.
in the tank, but it's okay. I take it like it is. It could have been worse with the crash I did.
Yes. I
And
saw you crash
so
really well, actually.
I kept riding. Yeah, parkour. Huh?
Yeah. I was like, wow.
Luckily, that could have been really
That
bad.
was some action
I
movie shit.
yeah, the toe. I thought it was just like capsulitis or dislocated or something like
Mm.
that. But I was peeing blood for 3 days too, so not the best for riding.
No, it's
Yeah,
absolutely.
but I wanted to do laps so bad, so it is what
Yeah.
it is.
I completely understand. So Bienve, what is your do you have any training regime, like training routine? Like how do you make sure that um that you put in the work that you believe you have to in order to like
Main,
progress? Or what is your
the the main thing, I mean, I've done some surgeries in my shoulders, so I have a
Mhm.
little gym. I have a little gym at home, and sometimes when I see I'm for too many days without doing anything, I just go to the gym and do some shoulders, you
Mhm.
know, because I've done collarbone, I've done
Yeah,
dislocation
I broke it
surgery
too.
2 times.
Collarbone.
I've done the ACL here,
Yeah.
so I have 4 surgeries in my shoulders.
Okay.
So sometimes I do, but really think it's boring as fuck, and
Yeah, I agree. But you need to
and
strengthen your rotator cuff, no, like
yeah,
all the
because when you
muscles
bite
around
you
there.
all the time like that, and with
Yeah.
the muscles you can go higher, you know. And for Supermans and all of that, you need to be a little easier to move.
Yeah.
So besides that, I just try to be on my downhill bike as long as I can. Like I just put like 20, 20 to 25 solid hours a week on into the
Wow.
big bike.
Okay.
Maybe a little less sometimes, of course, but a good week
Yeah.
I can be on the downhill bike for 25 hours. Yeah, and
25 hours, it's like 5 hours a day, right? Yeah. If you would take like
more
2 days
yeah.
break. Do you have like a break? Do you have
Let's
like a
say
day when you
yeah.
don't ride? Or
I what again? Sorry.
do you have like a day of break every week? Like a day of like, oh, I never
Yeah.
ride on like this day or that day.
Let's say I usually do 2 days of riding, then rest day, then 2 days of riding, then rest
Okay.
day. maybe 3 of days of riding in a row when I have some mates at home. You know, recently Johnny Salido or Russos, they came to Spain, so they come for a trip, quick trip. So we are like 4 days in a row, 5 days in a
Obviously,
row
you're gonna ride with them, yeah.
riding. You know, so we probably did more than 25 hours of riding those 3-4 days. You know. But besides being on the downhill bike and the mini GP now, that I fucking love race bike, but one of the main things I got into it's because there's something else besides the bike that I can get fit, you know, because it's so physical. I take it like a physical training too, you
like a
know.
full
It's
body
not just
workout.
it's something super fun that's new and I can learn a lot, but it's such a workout, man. It's so hard. It is so hard. Yeah. If you try to be 2 laps full on, you need to get out because you feel your arms are gonna be like, you think their hands are gonna open and you're gonna die. It's insane. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, and sometimes I go paddle surfing. I have a paddle surf, and it's pretty good for the shoulders too. You know, it's and sometimes I go paddle surfing too. But
do you have any?
Besides that, that's it.
Yeah. Do you have any warm-up routine, or like do you do stretching or foam rolling or anything like that?
Not really. I only stretch when I'm hurt. To be honest.
I see. Yeah.
When I'm hurt, when I feel I have some muscles that are sore, I go to the chiropractic if it's like serious, or either I just do some stretching at home just because I feel like.
But you guys did a lot of stretching as a gymnast, no? Like I think there is mandatory 2 hours of stretching.
Yeah. Like easy penalty for being a bad boy on training was like 300 push-ups and stuff like that. Yeah.
And so why did you, I'm just curious, like why did you decide to not do like stretching for mountain biking if you did so much in the gymnastics? Like
because the gymnastic already made me super stretchy. For biking, you don't need to be that much stretchy. So it's more than enough. I don't need to keep working on being stretchy because it's already with the gymnastics. I was let's say the level of stretching for gymnastics you need it's a 10, and for biking you need a 4 or a 5.
You already got it, even if you don't do anything.
I'm never going from 10 to 5, you know. Maybe now I'm a 7, let's say.
Okay, yeah.
That's in a scale.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense if you explain this way.
It's more than enough what I've got from when I was a kid. I don't need to work. Sometimes I do just because it makes me feel better, but it's not something I need to work on.
I see. And what about injury prevention? Because they say like, yo, you have to warm up in order to like prevent injuries. Like, what is your take on that?
Yeah, I will say mainly for me, it's the shoulders, man. I just need to be sure I do some shoulder push-ups, chesty. Then when I go crashing, I just go like this. And what it takes the impact, it's the arms. That's why I fucked up my shoulders a couple times. But besides riding a lot, no preparation since years ago, to be honest. I was going hard on the team.
Yeah, I'm thinking just like warming up with like a few laps should be okay. Like that's what I do sometimes on La Puma. Like no tricks.
I do couple like body side chain, like stuff like that, but not much. To be honest, I'm the kind of guy who's cold and goes for it straight away.
Yeah. It's crazy how it's crazy you say that, because I have a kind of like a mindset that I always want to, whenever I do something, I want to try my best. So I want to try everything that I can in order to make sure I'm, as good as I can be. And so same with like, I'm coming from an experience of like bodybuilding and swimming. I was a professional swimmer before and like did a bunch of stuff. And I was always tried my best with like the nutrition and the stretching and this and that. And in mountain biking, I kind of did the same. I'm like foam rolling after session, like for like half an hour and stretching and this and that. And then this year I decided that, hey, I should actually try the opposite, like not do any of them and see how I feel. Because if I feel super good without stretching and without that, like why waste the time? And so I started I'm just not stretching now. I'm just like on purpose, like, okay, I don't really stretch a lot. I'm only doing a little bit of fascia stretching, what the Russo brothers recommended me. It's like literally 10 minutes. That's all I do, sometimes a few times.
Danny works really good about that.
Yeah,
Danny is really good about body working. Yeah.
But other than that, not much. And I started cutting the warm up as well, just to see like, am I gonna get more injury if I don't warm up? And the reality, and maybe this is just how my body works, or maybe it's just me. So I don't wanna, like whoever is like listening to this podcast, and if you're like stretching every day and you're doing just keep doing that if that works for you. But for me, I started cutting the warm up. And because I don't start the session with like tricks, I need to warm up physically to feel the kicker and everything. I will need like 15 minutes or something. Like I need at least, a warm up amount of time to just jump on the jumps. So by the time I
used to
start
be
doing
like
tricks,
that,
by the time I start doing tricks and I could crash, I'm already warmed up because I did all the safety runs.
Yeah.
And so I think that's enough for warm up for me. So far, it's working really well. And as for the stretching, I don't know. Maybe I can tell half a year later. Some people say that like long term, if I don't stretch, I'm gonna feel once I'm like 30 plus. But then here you are sitting, in front of me. You are 35, and you're like, yeah, whatever, dude. Like,
yeah. At the same time, I tell you, either I take a super warm bath in the morning,
okay,
or it's I mean, I'm feeling it already. Every morning I take like a 45 degrees bath, like for 10 minutes.
okay.
Then I'm good again, but I wake up like
Stiff a bit, yeah.
Yeah, especially in between riding days, I wake up a little stiff sometimes. So I have to go for or either super cold or either super warm bath that make my blood going through my body, and then I can't wait. My body wake ups. That is more my warm up. I will say that's my warm up, better than just before the riding, doing some stretching. Right in the morning, straight away, what I do is a super cold or super warm bath, or both, from one to the other one. And then since then, I'm already on.
I see. Okay, so you have your own way of doing. This is interesting. Maybe I try that, because sometimes I also feel stiff in the morning, and then when you're stiff, it's like harder to find the motivation to go and start the day. But like once you're there, you're okay. But you just have to get there, and I think maybe the warm bath can help. Yeah,
a warm bath helps me a lot quite often. Yeah,
I'll give that a try. I usually ask people on this podcast about good and bad days, because I believe, us humans, we always have, days when we feel super stoked and we just want to do our thing. But then we also have those days when we are like, God damn it, I have to go again. And then so today I maybe don't want to go. So do you also experience the same? Like you said, you are riding 20, 25 hours. That's actually a lot. Like that's if you average out 4 or 5 hours.
Right now, I just love it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so like right now, every day
that's the feeling I have with dirt jump. That is the feeling I had with dirt jump back in the days, but not anymore, because I'm not riding dirt jump bikes that often. And now with the big bike, I'm just so motivated to keep learning and keep going, and I never get too lazy for it, to be honest. I'm just too pumped on keep going and keep learning, and till my body says stop.
I see.
And it sometimes does, of course. When, for example, before Darkfest, as I told you, Russos and Johnny, they came here. Yeah. And first of all, Danny and Elias, they came for 3 days, and we were full on. Then the same day that Johnny landed, they left. So I had one rest day. And then I had 5 days of riding with Johnny. And on the 5th, I was like, bro, you go alone, bro. I'm done.
Yeah, so that's a lot, yeah.
So at some point, my physics is saying...
Yeah, but that's a lot. Like that's...
And that's something I try to be smart at the events. And I want to ride a lot at Darkfest, for example, but I don't override neither, I try to be full of energy every day, at least 80%, but not emptying the tank day 2 and can be able to ride on day 3, I try to never empty the tank. Otherwise, the next day gets too long and risky, especially when you do gnarly stuff. You don't want to be out of energy,
Yeah, I agree. Like you have to kind of rest before those things. Also, like mentally, no? Like the body is one thing, but the mind is also gets fatigued.
Yeah, maybe not rest super often. Just don't expend all the energy. so
Yeah.
often, like every day, you know.
Do
So
you?
every day you can unload the battery a little, but through the night you go 100 again. If you
Mhm.
put all down and the next day you're 50%, I don't like
Yeah,
that feeling. So I try to don't empty the tank totally, and then the next day I have a full tank again, or at
I
least
see.
80%. You know?
I like that. I like this perspective.
Yeah.
What I wanted to ask is, because now that we talk, I'm just thinking. I think for me, it's my body can take more than my mind. So it's like I feel like when I feel tired or I start crashing with tricks, it's more like I'm mentally fatigued, like I'm mentally tired. I cannot focus that good anymore. With my body, I can like still do more work. So is that the same for you? It's more for you that the body is too tired? Because I think that's an interesting thing. Like, you
Honestly,
know what I mean?
I think my brain wants more than my body
Okay.
can have it.
So for you, it's
For
the like the
now,
actual opposite.
for now, I want to do more. Like I'm motivated to do more, but I try to be smart. And if I feel my body is not gonna keep going on the same level as my mind, then I rest. So I
I
know the
see.
next day is gonna be good too. You know.
And what was it like when you were doing tricks, like on like dirt jumper bike? Because you said there it was sometimes harder to get the motivation to go and do tricks.
Honestly, when I was doing dirt jump bikes, I was spending even more than 25 hours a week in La Poma.
Mm-hmm.
I was like every day. When I quit my job and I just started riding bikes like a full-time thing, man, La Poma was all day, every day, all day, every day. And it was just so much fun. But through the years, I just got a little bit tired of doing the same jumps, maybe the same events, same tricks. And then also, let's be honest, the dirt jump scene is not as the business is not that big, compared
Yes.
to big biking. So this is also something that made me decide what are my priorities. But if on big biking business is better and I have more fun, that's why I went that way.
That makes sense. Makes
Yeah,
perfect
yeah,
sense.
it's that simple.
Yeah.
I
What
was
are
I
your
wasn't really earning a lot of money when the dirt jump this season. I was living out of it,
Mhm.
but it's better now with a free ride for sure.
Yeah, now you can put aside and like make plans for the future and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
I can make my future plans with the
Mm-hmm.
dirt jump scene. It was just today and tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only
I
plans
see.
were today, tomorrow, maybe next month. That was all. Now I can think about the end of the year, maybe Rampage, maybe big events, and then some projects, some stuff like that. So it's different. I can
And what about
I can think about the future.
yeah, I see. What about YouTube? Because you didn't mention YouTube. I mean, when I ask hobbies and stuff, one of your hobbies is
Yeah,
actually recording videos, no? Because that's a big thing. Like I
yeah,
also did a little bit of YouTube, and I know it takes a lot of time and work, not
yeah.
just to record the stuff, but to also like make sure there's kind of like a story around it, and then like put everything together. Also like edit the stuff. It's a ton of work. Not to mention the thumbnail, the YouTube SEO, etc., etc. And so I probably that keeps you as busy as well. Or what is your take on YouTube?
I mean, for me, YouTube is starting being a super fun thing to edit
Mm-hmm.
the videos, and it was pretty good to make me people know myself a little bit better. But it's the perfect example of starting something because it was super motivating, and then getting kind of over it of it at
Mm-hmm.
some point
That's normal.
after. So I've been doing full YouTube every week, like being consistent for 2.5, 3 years, and
Like
then I
every
had
day a video,
yeah, no, every week, 1 or 2
every
videos
week
per
a
week.
video.
I was
Okay,
doing,
okay.
and I was having so much fun, and I was editing a good amount of hours, which is
Yeah,
was okay by then. But as after 2.5, 3 years, then COVID came,
yeah,
and then I had to be stuck for 3 months at home. And I made like 2 YouTube videos at home, but I was like, I don't like that. So I wasn't able to make action And that got me a little bit sad about YouTube. So I was like, man, if I'm not able to make action, then it doesn't really interest me, you know. So I lost a little bit the fun about editing and doing the videos, the action, the GoPro POVs, putting everything together. And YouTube was more like a fun thing than a monetary thing. Of course, YouTube is really good. Like example for Fabio or Pilgrim or Matt Jones or people, they are earning a big amount of money about it.
Yes.
I don't know how big, I mean, but couple grands a month for sure. And in my case, the best month for me in YouTube when I did like millions of views and stuff, it was like maybe 2 grand a month, but that was the best ever for me. So it was good.
I thought much more actually.
No, not really, honestly. And I had that video that got viral and it got like 17 million views and whatever. But YouTube, you get a good amount of money if you get 1 million views a week. Then you get a good amount of you know, because you do 3-4 episodes a week, they get 150 to 150,000 views, maybe 500,000 one of them. So you make in between 700,000 and 1 million a week of views. Then you can earn like maybe 3 grand a month of YouTube. More or less, I think, since what I've seen on YouTube, that is what it is, you know. But after COVID, after the injuries, after no events, because there were no events for 2 years. That was my main issue, man. Audi 9s, Proving Grounds, Rampage, all of those events got canceled. And my main goal about the YouTube for me was bringing my camera to the events. You know, everyone can go to the bike parks and do some vlogging, and that's cool. And I follow some people who does that, and I always love YouTube videos. I keep watching Pilgrim, some other people, whatever, Fabio. I like that. It's cool. But for me, the fun about being a YouTuber was to be possible, to be
document those things, right?
Just to bring a GoPro to the event and show how is it to train, compete, travel, crash, and ride, and everything about the events. You know, so when COVID came, the next 1.5 years for me was super out of motivation because there were no events, no cool stuff to film. So I started doing some fun vlogs, you know, and I didn't really feel comfortable about it. And then one thing become to the other one, and I just got over it about the YouTube thing. It just got me like, it's not much more I want to do on it. And monetary, it's never been the main thing for me to do YouTube.
It's probably not worth your time if you look at from a financial perspective. And then
after that, if you want to do 2-3 videos a week, you need to spend 20 hours in front of your computer. And once, but let's be honest, when you're 33, I want to get out of my place and enjoy the riding, not being
I know what you mean.
You know, after COVID and no events, I was like, fuck it, bro. I'm going to enjoy life. I took it like this. I took it like that. It's just my brain wanted to do it this way, and I couldn't avoid. Even today, I would love to be back at YouTube, but my brain just wants to go have fun on the bike, progress your level, get to the big events, do good results, do best runs, get the awards, do your thing, have fun, progress in life, go walk with the dogs, enjoy the girlfriend. That's the way my brain wants to go now, you know? And I enjoy it YouTube, but I think that was a step in my life, and that step is gone.
I love it, man. I think you have a really good perspective on this because we all have limited resources. Like we have limited resources in terms of like energy, time, attention. And so wherever we put our focus,
my energy now goes on different stuff.
Yeah. And so I think that's fine. Like I think and I already spoke to a few people here, and I'm not just doing this. Like, this is not my main, you know, I'm not making any money from this. I'm just talking to you guys because I think it's fun.
I'm not going to be doing it all the life, but good season doing that, of course. Yeah.
And I also talked to a lot of... Go ahead, sorry.
Go ahead.
So I was just saying, I also talk to a lot of entrepreneurs because of what I do, because I'm a business consultant. Like that's what I do for a living. And it's the same stuff, dude. Like, just like in mountain biking or like in anything else in life, like you do things until they serve you, aka until you can learn something from these things. You kind of do them because they shape you as a person. And then there comes the time when there is nothing else kind of to learn. And so, like, sometimes you're just over things because they don't shape you anymore. And so, I think that's the big thing, is that you have to find things, or you have to change the dynamics so the things are keep shaping you in a way as a human, give you an experience. Otherwise, you have like no motivation to do it. And even if, like, I've seen in many examples, it's like entrepreneurs, they do things because of the money. They could do that for half a year or a year or maybe 2 years, but that just goes away. Like once you have the cash, then the motivation dies with it, and then you're like back at square zero. So I think that's why it's for me, it's a blessing to have mountain biking as like a pure passion thing, because I don't do anything in mountain biking for the money, and I love that.
That's a good point. For me, biking started like a passion.
Mm-hmm.
I kept going with it, and then it became my business. But I will never go with only business and forget the passion.
I love it.
Then I'm gonna be done. If that happens, if mountain bike is just becoming a business, just YouTube, just get money, sponsors, then I'm over, bro. Then I quit. Then I quit and I do something else. Because no, it's not the way I've been doing everything on my life. Gymnastics, it was good. I got over it. I changed. I go from one to the other, but either I keep the motivation or it's hard. I mean, at the same point, I need to live out of something, of course. I'm not forgetting the business part. But if I so I could forget the business part, but I could not forget the passion part. Because then I might be over, man, for me.
Yeah. I think it's all about finding the balance in between like the financial aspect and like the experience, and like finding a sweet combination where you're making enough, but you don't sacrifice a lot of, like, you don't have to, like, you shouldn't sacrifice a lot of
that's why I
happiness and all
quit
kind of
YouTube.
thing.
That's why I quit YouTube, because it was too much sacrifice, and the business was not that, more business with losing that amount of hours a week, not worth it.
I
So
agree.
I try to keep being strong with social media, of course, Instagram and stuff, and show that I'm active. But for me now, the main goal is competition results, social media a little bit, and also enjoy the writing. And that's why I had to quit YouTube, because I was not enjoying the writing anymore. If I was just focused on filming and banging every day, because for me, YouTube was a thing that I could show I'm an active writer and I'm strong on tricks and whatever. But once you want to enjoy the writing, maybe that day you don't want to risk that much. Just for the highlights of the YouTube, you need to. So I needed to quit to be happy.
It changes what you do. Like, it shapes you. You act differently once you have a camera, because you just want this to be a good piece of content.
And the camera can tell. Once you have the camera here and you're not the most motivated guy to do it, the camera can tell. Then the content gets less interesting. Then it's not worth it at all again, So that's why I did it till I could keep the motivation where it should be. Once the motivation was going there, I didn't keep going all the way. I just cut straight,
And so I didn't know that you stopped doing YouTube, actually. That was kind of like a blind question. I just saw you
Sometimes I post like a line, like some POV stuff, but I'm not vlogging again, like, hey boys, how you doing? Que pasa, riders, I would love to be that guy again, but it's just my brain doesn't want to do it anymore. After the COVID and no events, I just lost the interest, and I just found some other ways to keep motivated, and I just stick to that.
I see. I think you made the right decision, and if one day the motivation comes back for you and then you want to do it again, you can always just pick up the camera and do it. Like, you could never know.
Yeah, what I've learned through the years, it's you do better in stuff you're motivated for. Then I mean, it's not that hard to understand. It's something super simple that if you're motivated for something, the result is going to be better than if you do it just because you have to. If you want to, sick. If you have to, it gets,
tiring, burdensome.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So if I can still sneak my way through the mountain bike business world scene, whatever, have fun and keep there, but just take the fun part, I will do that. I like
I
the
love it.
flowy trail. I like the flowy trail, not the rowdy.
I love it. Yeah, I love this example. This is so nice.
Yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
jump guy, so I jump through the obstacles and I like the flow. But rowdy, less the minimum amount, please. I've been through many rowdy years already, and I think I where I am now, I'm more than happy, more than proud, and because I know all I've been going through, and I stick to that, bro. I love my sponsors. I love the mountain bike scene. I love everything that I could learn English just from traveling. I know so many things just because the way I've been doing it, and I think I stick to that, and I just try to keep motivated with my way.
Yeah. I guess never change what's been working. Like for you, this is working. You follow where the passion is, you follow where you are motivated, and then that keeps the fire in you, and then that shapes you as a person. And so far, it worked really well for you. So why would you
I'm
change a
happy. I'm
winning
happy.
formula? Yeah.
Yeah. Since
Yeah.
I jumped in the freeride scene, life has been really great, man. I'm super
Awesome.
happy about it. Met
Awesome.
insane amount of good people, traveled the world and everything. How is it? Also had some bad moments, of course, but it's just worth it.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
just
Like
try to
that,
make it
like
worth it. Yeah.
yeah, it's just worth it. Like it's part of the process. You cannot escape the hardship. Not just in mountain biking, but in anywhere in life. Like even in
Yeah.
relationships, no? Like yeah,
Yeah.
like oh, I want this, person next to me. It's gonna be so great, but once you are together, it's like, okay, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not that good, and so you have to kind of work on these things, and it's gonna
Yeah,
make worth it.
the sacrifice the people is being around me also has been huge. And
Yeah,
I think it's time to give them some of that time back to my family, to my mom, to
yeah.
my girlfriend, to my sister. I think I've been away of them for too long, since I started riding mountain bikes.
Hmm.
So I think now I can decide if I want to be more with them, and that's the way I want to go.
I
all the
love this.
sacrifice all the sacrifice paid off, and now I need to give them some time back.
I love it. I love it. Bienva, I think we covered a lot of ground today. I think so far it's been a really good podcast. Is there
Yeah, it's
anything
been,
else you
been
would love to
amazing.
talk
Thank you.
about or you want to share with the audience? Like, is there anything else you would want to maybe, a topic
I
you want to bring
mean,
up?
I'm just gonna say it's never too late to learn stuff, guys. Just keep motivated and find your way to keep motivated. That's the way I do life, and even I'm just a happy guy. I don't know if some of you knows the Happy Writings brand I have
Hmm.
some t-shirts stuff.
I do
It's something
definitely.
I have at home, and I don't really make a big thing out of it. But Happy Writings just started being a hashtag and a way of lifestyle. And then I just decided to do shirts or whatever, but I'm not talking about the brand. I'm talking about the spirit. Just being a happy guy, even if things are wrong, just being positive and happy and take the best out of it. I think it's the best way of living, and I think everyone should be going that way, and that's the best advice I can give to anyone. Just be a happy guy. Whatever it comes, it's gonna come anyway. The only thing you can choose is how you avoid or go against it. If you're a happy guy, everything is gonna be better. And that's the way I try to go. That's why I started Happy Writings. That's why the brand and everything. But the main thing was just the lifestyle. Just
I
try to
love this
progress.
perspective and mindset.
Thank you. Appreciate that, man.
So good. I have
Appreciate
one more
that.
question to you actually, because
Sure.
I would love to see how you approach this question, because I believe I share the same belief. I think we have to find something we are passionate about that, keeps us motivated. And so it's easier to get things done. But a lot of people ask me like, Blaze, okay, that sounds so cool, but how do I find something that I'm passionate about? So I have the same question
Yeah,
for
I
you.
mean,
I think that's the most difficult part.
Yeah.
But what is your process? What is your advice for people if they are Bienvenido, I have no passion for nothing. What should I do? You know what I mean?
Honestly, I've been really lucky with being able to just find my passion, you know? Okay, sports was my thing and whatever, but I've been super lucky to meet mountain biking how the way I did.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what it would have been about me if I didn't find the mountain bike. Probably working or doing some. So
you would have found something else, no? I'm sure you would have found something else.
That I've been really lucky. So first of all, I've been lucky finding the mountain bike scene. But I will say otherwise, I will put my top 3 things in the list and see what is it possible to go further with it, you know?
Do you know what would be your second thing? If you wouldn't be a mountain bike rider, what do you think you would be?
I probably will love to work on something about traveling and talking different languages.
I see. Yeah, so you have like kind of like another thing you can imagine doing instead of mountain biking.
I mean, I like video on camera, but I also like, which is everything about traveling. So, and I speak almost 5 languages. So
that's impressive.
I mean, I have Italian, I understand a lot, can speak a little, but I have Spanish, English, French, and Catalan. And with this, you can do business with languages, you know. If you have all of them. But you never know. I like social media. I like video and photo. I like sports. So I have that's what I like. Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that you would find something else, right?
Hopefully, at some point I might figure it out.
I guess the advice I give to people when they say, "Oh, I'm not passionate about anything," and it's probably not relevant to anybody on this podcast, because if you're listening to this one, you better be passionate about mountain biking. Otherwise, why spend so much time here? But for people who tell me like, "Okay, I've lost the passion, or I don't know what I'm passionate about," I always say like, "You said you are lucky, right?" And I also consider myself lucky for like the passions I have in life. But I think there is a saying, I heard this from, I don't know where, but I think it's really good when it says, luck comes to those who are actually putting in the work to be in the position to get lucky.
Yeah,
and so
I agree with that.
And so I think the learning lesson there is that there is no formula for finding passion, right? Like there is not like, okay, do this, do that, and you're going to be passionate about this. But one thing you can do is try many things in life, have an open mind. Because if you were just look at the jumps and you say, okay, nice jumps, whatever, I go home because I have to wake up early, you would never get into this thing. But because of you are curious, you're like, what it would feel like. You didn't know it's going to be a thing for you, but you just wanted to do a jump. Like you just, I just want to jump on that thing. It sounds, it looks cool. And then like one thing follows another. If you have an open mind, you try a bunch of things, then eventually I believe you would find something that you're passionate about. And I think that might be the secret for finding something that, that drives you.
Yeah.
Just trying.
Of course, there's no formula, but just trying to try stuff, just being open mind, how you said. I believe this is 2 things that are going to open the door to be lucky.
I agree. Okay. Yeah. I think that's like, these are like perfect words to like, wrap up this podcast.
I got motivated just from saying that. No,
I love it. I love it. It's such a good one. Yeah. I was a pumped. Dude, I can't wait to be in Spain again and like go ride that motor with you. I'll hit you up for sure. I think it's gonna be around like November, December. Because when the winter comes here, I'm like, goodbye.
Yeah, I know. All the French, Germans, Austrians, they come to La Poma in winter, which is so cool. This is probably the most time I ride my dirt jump bike in winter, just because everyone's coming, and then I'm just stoked to see everyone, and then just take my dirt jump bike.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. And so thank you so much for spending the time to be here.
Thanks for the chat.
Having an open mind, sharing so many things, getting vulnerable on some topics, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people would also appreciate you being here. So
thanks for that, man. It actually made me feel good about talking about everything. I haven't been talking about many of this stuff we've been going through, so it's actually cool to go through again.
I'm so glad you enjoyed as well. Awesome.
Yeah, sure.
Dude,
100%.
have a good one. Yeah, keep in
You too, man.
touch.
Thanks everyone for watching, and thank you, buddy. See you soon.
Absolutely. Ciao.
Thanks for listening till the end. We had a lot of fun recording this episode for you. I hope you also enjoyed today's episode and found it both informative and entertaining. If you did, please share it on your Instagram story or share it with your close friends so they can also benefit from listening. The way to motivate us to keep putting in the work recording these episodes for you is just by sharing it, rating the show, and leaving a positive review. In the description section, you can usually find the question and the poll, so don't forget to answer that as well. There you can also let us know what questions you would like me to ask from the upcoming guests. Lastly, I would like to announce that we are building a free community on Facebook for bike riders just like yourself, where the main goal is to help each other learn and perfect new tricks and moves on the bike. I see way too many people just try tricks, never recording themselves, and they usually keep failing the same way all over and over again before they give up or get injured. I've been a bike rider for over 10 years now, and after talking to a lot of professionals, I've realized that this is one of the biggest and most important things pro riders do to progress their riding. They record themselves, analyze the clip, and either compare that to a perfectly executed clip or video, or ask for some suggestions from their friends. You see, in order to learn or perfect new tricks, we first have to learn how it feels when we pull the trick perfectly, and then we have to use that feeling to do the trick over and over again, building up our confidence. The hardest part is landing the trick first, because we usually don't know what techniques to try or modify in order to find the feeling we are looking for. Once we got the feeling, usually we land the trick within a few tries. You know, I'm trying my best to invite all the guests into the group, so don't hesitate. Feel free to join in. We are looking forward to welcoming you in the group. You can find the link in the description. So, thanks for listening. Keep sending it. Peace and love. Until next time.